So the Patriots may not want to talk about Kansas City yet, but we will. They earned it. Tom Leyden, Jeff Howe of The Athletic. What a great win, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this was a team that we had so many questions. We didn't know how they were going to show up, if they were going to show up, just because of all the road failures this season. They've been dominant at home. They continued it against a Chargers team that everybody wanted to be that hot, up-and-coming, tough, well-rounded team, and it wasn't even close. It was totally one-sided, basically from the start of it, aside from one little defensive meltdown, and it was 38-7 before you knew it.
Surprising, I think, because you didn't expect it to be so easy. But at the same time, we all thought they'd win because they were home. So now you turn the page, you do go to Kansas City, and now we're talking about a 3-5 team, a team that really struggled on the road. So they did well today, but how do they do well next week under those circumstances?
So what I'm looking at is, yeah, there's an element of we don't know, but look at the last 2 weeks and how Belichick really tuned up this team, the focus that they had. I mean, I started to get a really good feeling about the Patriots Friday, bleeding into Thursday, I guess. Just like, okay, this team has a different, level of focus that we've seen in the regular season. That's what they were missing in all these road games. This might be like an NBA sort of situation where teams just sort of tune out the first 45 minutes of the game and then start to try, I guess, in the final 3 minutes. I don't know if it's to that dramatic of an extent, but the Patriots are completely, they've flipped that switch, to use, the metaphor. The look of Brady trying to argue at the referee for running out those last 3 seconds before halftime of a 35-7 game because he wanted a 48-yard field goal try. I mean, that's a team that is totally bought into the message and the process, and that was what they have been missing, again, in those 5 road losses. So if they carry that over into Kansas City, then they have a much better shot than I think any of us would have given them 24 hours ago.
Let's give some love and attention to some people that deserve it, or some sections of the team that deserve it. I thought Sony Michel, obviously 3 touchdowns, but I thought he ran better than he did all year. He saw open holes and he attacked them. I didn't see that a lot this year, Jeff.
Yeah, he had a lot of room to run. And you know what I liked? There were times when there were guys bearing down on him in the backfield and he still was able to make yards. I mean, you didn't always see that. And there were other examples. I think there was a pitch to James White, got about 16 yards early when David Andrews had a free release over to the linebacker to start creating that space. The teams that are able to consistently run the ball well, you start to see guys like Andrews and the interior linemen get onto linebackers without a lot of resistance from the defensive line. So that is the recipe for a good, consistent ground game. It's all going to be working together.
And now you got guys who have confidence. You got Michel, who had a big game. You got White, who had 15 catches, which is a career high, postseason or regular season. And they went through 2 weeks. Now they only have 1 before Kansas City, but 2 weeks of preparation that paid off. And they knew that they were going to play well. I mean, talking to the guys, they said, we really felt that when we took the field today, that our offense was going to click. So they got to carry that over. And who's the guy that leads that charge? Is it going to be Belichick? Is he the guy who's going to do that, or does that trickle down to the rest of the coaching staff this week?
I mean, it's got to be everybody. You don't just go into Kansas City and pull off a win unless, Andy Reid barfs all over himself. But, that's a playoff tradition unlike any other. Look, this is a situation where...
You're already in trouble in Kansas City. What are you doing?
Well... bring up some old feuds, have some fun on Twitter. That's what we do it for, right? Don't take ourselves too seriously. Look, Tom Brady has to play the game on his terms. I didn't learn anything about the Colts, or the Chiefs, when they beat the Colts. The Colts no-showed. If you give that team a 14-0 lead right off the bat, even 10-0, whatever, and you allow that crowd to really get into it, Chris Jones is one of the best defensive players in the league. They've got playmakers on the outside. When they can ignore the run and just start going after the quarterback, they're going to start making plays. This defense, this isn't a come-to-Jesus moment like the 2006 Colts had, where all of a sudden their defense is going to start playing well because a guy shows up here or there. This is a vulnerable Kansas City defense that Tom Brady posted 43 points against earlier right here. He's not going to put up 43, I don't think, in the AFC Championship game, but they know how to move the ball against Kansas City. And again, it's about playing the game on your terms.
I want to ask both of you guys, I think a big part of this game coming up in Kansas City is the doubters. We all come here during the week. We were all in the locker room. You ask Patriots players, do people doubt you? They don't give you anything leading up to a game. But to a man after the game, with all 3 of us, Brady on national television, we're the team that can't win games, right? And then everybody else, they've internalized that. It is them against the world, isn't it?
We've seen it work for him in the past, a long time ago now at this point, back when Tom Brady was in his early 20s. So this is before the internet was a thing, I think. But this is a team that you saw the defense. I mean, everybody played well. This is a retribution type of game from not just Brady. I mean, Gronk in his blocking. Michel was counted out early in the season coming off the knee surgery. And the defense was counted out fairly to an extent mid-season, but they played well. Their pass rush is a consistent force. I thought Hightower, when he hit Rivers on that delay game penalty, when nobody heard the whistle because the crowd was so loud, that was sort of a tone-setting moment in that second drive. They got a couple more pressures. I think one hit in that series. Same thing happened in the third series. The pass rush starts getting going. So there's a lot of guys in that locker room who look and say, I don't think the outsiders believe in me, and collectively, they don't think anybody believes in them as a team.
My final thought is this about the game this week. I felt like the talk couldn't stop. Get rid of it going into this game. I don't think we'll have enough talk. I can't wait for that game next Sunday night. The old gun against the new gun in Brady Mahomes, the experience of the Patriots and how they're going to channel that. Can this game get here fast enough? It's going to be awesome.
And we haven't mentioned it to this point, and we'll leave it with this thought. The play in Miami. If not for the play in Miami, we wouldn't have to travel. And it's all going to come down to these guys figuring out what they haven't been able to figure out all year. Jeff referenced it. We've talked about it. How's this team going to go on the road and get a win? It's going to be fun. Thanks.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, this is what this year is all about. The last few months, the Patriots going to Kansas City. I know, miracle in Miami, yada, yada, yada. The Chiefs deserve to have the game in their building, and if the Patriots go out and earn a trip to the Super Bowl, it's going to be something special.